Something strange happens when a garden experiment works so well that it makes you question years of habits. Not a small improvement, not a seasonal win, but a deep shift that reaches below the surface and stays there. That is exactly what happened when I stopped relying on compost pits and ran a head-to-head soil test that permanently changed how I build fertile ground. If you garden in tough soil and feel like you are constantly feeding it without ever seeing real change, stay with me, because this discovery hits hard and fast. For years, the soil I worked with was stubborn beyond belief. A dense mix of clay locked together with sand, compacted, water-resistant, and lifeless just a few inches down. Compost pits were supposed to be the answer. I dug them, filled them with organic waste, waited patiently, and hoped the soil would eventually transform. What actually happened was disappointing. The surface improved slightly, but beneath it remained dense and dead. That was the first clue that decomposition alone was not enough. Soil health is not just about adding organic matter. It is about structure, airflow, carbon stability, and creating a permanent home for microbes. Once I understood that, everything changed. The turning point came when I stopped treating soil like a container and started treating it like a living system. I decided to compare two methods I had used separately for years but never tested side by side. On one half of a garden bed, I laid down layered cardboard the way many gardeners do to suppress weeds and soften the ground. On the other half, I applied biochar, prepared correctly and used shallowly instead of buried. This was not a lab test or a theory experiment. This was real soil, real plants, and real consequences. Cardboard has always been reliable for surface control. It blocks light, reduces evaporation, and creates a moist environment that worms love. When layered properly and weighted down, it slowly breaks down and encourages tunneling below. In this test, I overlapped the sheets, covered them lightly with mulch, and watered regularly. It behaved exactly as expected. Weeds stopped, the surface stayed cooler, and the soil underneath slowly began to soften. Biochar, however, did something entirely different, and it did it immediately. Instead of burying it deep, I scratched it into the top 3 inches of soil. Before applying it, I pre-charged it to avoid nutrient lockup. This step matters. Dry biochar is like a sponge with an empty stomach. If you add it straight to soil, it can temporarily absorb nutrients meant for plants. To prevent that, I soaked the biochar for 48 hours in compost tea. The formula was simple and exact. 1 gallon of water mixed with 1 cup of finished compost, stirred well, then 1 cup of biochar added and left to soak until fully saturated. By the end of 2 days, the biochar had darkened and softened, ready to support life instead of stealing from it. Within 10 days, the difference between the two sides was impossible to ignore. After watering, the biochar side stayed damp longer without becoming soggy. When I pressed my hand into the soil, it crumbled easily, breaking apart instead of clumping. This was not because it had decomposed. Biochar does not decompose in any meaningful time frame. It was because its structure had already changed how water and air moved through the soil. Each piece of biochar contains countless microscopic pores and channels. These act like permanent apartments for microbes, fungi, and beneficial bacteria. They also trap moisture and nutrients while still allowing excess water to drain. Cardboard has to break down before it can influence what happens beneath it. Biochar starts working the moment it touches soil. That distinction is everything, especially in hot climates, sandy ground, or unpredictable rainfall. Now, this is where compost pits really fall apart as a long-term strategy. Compost pits, you see, rely on depth and moisture, but most backyard soils just don't have the airflow needed for efficient breakdown underground. Anaerobic pockets form pretty easily, creating sour material that can take months to rebalance. Even when a compost pit does succeed, its benefits are really limited to a small area, and, well, it needs constant refilling. Once the material decomposes, the structure it created just disappears. Biochar, on the other hand, works differently. It simply does not break down. It holds on to nutrients from every compost application, mulch layer, and root exudate added afterward. You can think of it as a soil savings account instead of just a seasonal expense. Cardboard, though, is temporary but powerful. It's great at weed suppression and surface conditioning. One needs to be renewed every year, while the other lasts for decades. The real proof, though, came when planting time arrived. Roots in the biochar section spread outward quickly, filling air pockets and exploring the soil instead of just driving straight down in search of oxygen. Early growth was stronger and more balanced. This really matters most for crops that depend on early root development like corn, beans, squash, and long-term plants such as berries and perennials. The cardboard side did perform well once breakdown began, but the response was slower and more surface-focused. What really permanently changed my soil was realizing that these two methods are not competitors. They are actually partners. Cardboard is just perfect for reclaiming ground, suppressing weeds, and protecting soil during transition. Biochar, on the other hand, anchors fertility and structure long after those surface materials disappear. Together, they create a foundation that compost pits alone just can't provide. For gardeners just starting out, cardboard offers a super easy way to calm wild ground without chemicals or heavy digging. For experienced growers, biochar locks in years of fertility with minimal ongoing input. And for anyone thinking long-term, especially in challenging soil, this combination is honestly a game changer. Once you stop chasing decomposition and start building structure, soil health really accelerates. Water behaves differently, roots grow differently, microbial life stabilizes instead of cycling wildly. That right there is the difference between feeding soil and actually designing it. If this breakdown helped you see soil in a new way, make sure you subscribe to Crop Corner for more real-world tests, long-term strategies, and practical gardening knowledge that actually works. Share this with someone still digging compost pits and wondering why their soil never changes. One simple test might just transform their garden forever.